So today we've got this lovely striking yellow 2-litre Cayman that's coming to us for our Stage 2 package. This is going to be using the Milltek exhaust system that they offer currently only for the 2.5, although I believe it fits exactly the same. So we're working with Milltek to confirm that their product fits this. So it'll be sports cats and a catback exhaust system. The car is also going to be receiving a BMC air filter. It's a little bit more difficult on this 2-litre platform to fit those than it is on the GT4 and GTS 4-litre stuff that you've seen us do already. Once we've got all the bits on, we're going to do a calibration. We'll probably start out nice and low at sort of stage 1 figures, see how the car behaves on the dyno, and then we'll start to slowly increase it and turn it up to where we believe a stage 2 should sit for this model. You've probably already seen the Boxster that we tuned, same platform, essentially just got a roof on it. So we're going to do exactly the same process. However, because this has got a full exhaust system going on it and the sports cats rather than what we did on that last car, we should see slightly better results. But let's find out. I'm going to take this car inside now and get Andrew straight onto fitting all the parts. So you've seen the guys load the car up on the dyno. You've probably seen that a million times if you've been watching the channel. They've now run it up stock after doing some pre-flight checks, so to speak. I've got on the laptop here the data logs, which is what's really important to me as the person tuning it. Obviously the graph is what people are more accustomed to seeing. So the first thing that we must note is, and we've seen it, we'll come around, we've seen this on the blue car. If you've not seen that video, there's a video for that as well. One of the things that's really, really bad on these stock is this dip here, and we see this regular. From what I can see in the logs here, which we could drop these on the screen, but I'll give you a little bit of a insight. At this very point here, where it drops at 4,800 RPM, it's making peak boost pressure. So the boost pressure, as you can see, the boost pressure is this line here, and it's really poor. The setup for the boost control on this standard is horrendous, and at that particular point there, 4,480 RPM, it's making peak boost at that's basically 1.372 bar, because you've got a bar of atmospheric pressure. So it's above its set point, at which point the wastegate will try to control it to bring the actual boost pressure below its set point, which is here, and that is exactly what's happening here. So because the boost control's really poor, that's why you've got this sort of like really wavy, horrible graph at the top here. I'm surprised more people don't notice this on the road. It's dropping the best part of 25 wheel horsepower and 25 foot-pounds of torque, which is enough for you to feel it, really. There's a slight overshoot here, and then it comes back down to where its target is of below 275 foot-pounds. This overshoot here mostly is due to the way that the dyno loads it up and then lets it go, and as it lets it go to do its run, it will overshoot a little bit, so it tends to give a slightly inflated figure just here and then settle down into a more smooth run. However, with that said, the car is running healthy, it's not pulling loads of timing out, everything's happy, it's just badly calibrated from factory. It's making just over 300 wheel horsepower now, given that we've got sports cats exhausts and breathing modifications on this car, to expect somewhere in the region of 25 to 30 horsepower increase over over the standard quoted figures, it's not unachievable, so it's about right. In terms of torque, it's touching just 300 foot-pounds. So we've got 300 and 300, which is a stock car with some additional hardware is what I would expect. So we'll get straight to putting our stage 2 tune on it. I'm going to start a little bit lower like I always do, see where we get to, see how happy it is, check the logs, check the boost control. And then we'll decide whether we're going to try and turn it up a little bit more. So we'll do that. You'll see the lads do that, and then we'll retouch on this stuff to show the differences. We've now seen the car run with our stage 2 file on. Now, this is one that I had a previous base from one that I'd done before, so I sort of knew that I was going to be in reasonably good shape. However, the last car didn't have the optimum hardware that we would recommend, and this one does. So what we've found now is that we've actually picked up 30 wheel horsepower over and above the stage 2 car that we did last time that was not the greatest hardware on it. As you can see by the graph, we've completely fixed all these horrible dips and boost control issues and things like that, and it's super tight here. You know, you've not got any sort of major ups and downs, which I've got to reiterate on a Dynapack dyno where it's extremely sensitive to changes. A small dip like this, for example, you wouldn't see that on a rolling road because of the inertia of the roller, but on our dyno you see everything. So to get something as nice as that, it's got to be really well controlled. More importantly, we've picked up the best part, so we're just below 350 foot-pounds of torque here at 1.5 bar, so it's not like we're pushing this car hard. In the mid-range here, you can see there's no overshoot or boost on our file either, so it just sits up nicely and then takes it all the way up to the red line. So that's a nice sort of fat torque curve, as you'd call it, so all the way through the rev range there, right up to 6,500, you're above 300 foot-pound. So it's, whereas here, on the stock file, you're at 250. So in most places, we're picking up above 50 foot-pounds of torque. In some spots like here and here, it's closer to 100 foot-pound of torque, which is massive. So that car is going to drive really, really good, not just at the peak power numbers up here, but all the way through the rev range. We've managed to achieve that with not massive increases in boost. You can see by looking at this, hopefully Steve can zoom in there, those two lines in comparison to the standard file, so the Porsche file is that one, you can see it's all over the place and then it drops like we were explaining earlier, versus our tune where it comes up nicely, the request is sat nice, the pressure is underneath it. Just here we get a little bit of movement where the boost wants to just overshoot its target set point. Maximum boost pressure we get to is 1.65 bar there or thereabouts. But as soon as it tries to overshoot it, the control that I've put into the ECU makes the wastegate open slightly just to bring this back down and keep it in line. So to have the boost control set up like that where it's keeping everything nice and tight, that's what gives us an amazing graph like that. So furthermore to that, so to speak, we've got maximum 3 degrees of ignition time in pull, and that is on stock, not control. So in theory, you could put 95 RON fuel in this car. I'm just going to try and open it up to see if they can see it. We've got that bit there. So just as it comes on boost, it pulls 3 degrees. I'm happy with anything up to 3 degrees on the dyno because obviously temperature differences when you've got the engine in the back and you're trying to get cool into it. If you took that on the road, I'm pretty confident it'd be at 0. Up to 3 degrees there, you've got minus 2.63 degrees there. That's, again, I must reiterate, that is with stock, not control. So I've not adjusted the knock at all. So if you were to go and put Morrison's fuel in this car, it'd be pulling a lot more timing out than that, but ultimately it wouldn't damage the engine. I know this customer's definitely going to run V-Power or Tesco 99, which is what I recommend. So if I wanted to make a little bit more here and a little bit more up the top there, which really we don't need to do, but if we wanted to, we can relax the knock control a little bit, knowing that he's not going to put cheap, nasty fuel in it. And I think we could probably increase the boost pressure a little bit as it comes on. So maximum boost pressure down the bottom there, where it's coming on boost, we're only up 100 millibars over standard. We're going up to about 1.45 bar there. So we can try a slightly more aggressive file if we wanted to. It doesn't really need it. It's hitting exactly what we'd hope for it to do. But for the purpose of the video, I'll probably put a slightly more boost in at the bottom. Tail it off up here, and let's just see if we can add just a little bit more torque up here. Again, you've got to bear in mind, rear wheel drive car, we don't want to make it undrivable. 340 foot-pounds of torque is plenty enough. Having a 40, well, even as it comes on here, you're making more than 40 foot-pound, and at peak you're making the best part of 100 foot-pound, so it's massive. So we'll up the power slightly, or we'll send it the aggression up just a little bit more on the boost control, give it a little bit more boost, see how it behaves to that. If it likes it, we might leave it like that, we'll drive it on the road. If it feels like it's too much on the road, we'll turn it back down. As soon as we've done that, we'll get it on the road, go out and do exactly the same process, minus the dyno graphs. We follow this process, so we do this on the dyno and on the road to ensure that under different circumstances or different conditions, we're still getting a really good data log from it. That's the car now gone back to the customer, who's absolutely thrilled with it. He's had a quick test drive. We did film him going off, but unfortunately that was done in portrait, which is no good for this video. We've got a couple of exciting projects that you can see behind me. One is on the dyno right now, both 4 litres that we'll be following up with. So if you've got any questions about your 2 litre or 2.5 litre Cayman Boxster platform, drop us an email, drop us a call, one of the staff will get that. We'll be following up with videos of probably this Spider. We've done 1 million GT4s now, so we don't want to get too tedious on the channel, but we'll get some cool shots and stuff to go onto the social platforms, so it's worth jumping across. If you're on YouTube watching this, jump across to Instagram, TikTok and Facebook to follow Genome, and we'll catch up on the next one.